22A and 22B. I would ask you to remove number 20. Then didn't we have another something that I saw an email about a bit ago to add, or no? You don't have anything else?
I haven't checked my email in the last hour or so either, so no,
all right.
I don't know.
All right, then those are any other department head have a change to the agenda? All right, if not, then I'll ask you to approve the agenda.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? I was honored today to give the commencement address, if you can call it that, at the Willie Price kindergarten graduation. It was certainly the highlight of my week. And last week, the highlight was getting to speak to third graders at Della Davidson about being good citizens and just kind of informing them about the community that they live in. So those were two awesome things that this job allows me to do. I am so proud of the success that the Ole Miss baseball team has experienced recently, and we will have our last home baseball series of the regular season Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I know we're always excited to welcome Texas A&M fans to town. They spend a lot of money, and we love it when they come to town. The Destination Oxford Car Show will be on the square this Saturday, and the Velvet Ditch Grand Fondo Bike Ride will also be this Saturday. So come downtown and watch some baseball and look at some really cool old cars and trucks and spend a lot of money eating and enjoy all of that before the students come back to town. So that is it for the mayor's report. I would ask you to authorize the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on May 3rd.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to authorize the approval of accounts for all city departments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ask you to consider a very lengthy consent agenda.
Move to consider consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, request permission to adopt a resolution declaring the intention of the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Oxford to either issue combined water and sewer revenue bonds of said city, issue a revenue bond of said city for sale to the Mississippi Development Bank, or enter into a loan with the Mississippi Development Bank, all in a total aggregate principal amount of not to exceed $4 million for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, enlarging, improving, repairing, and or extending the combined waterworks and sewer system of said city and for related purposes. Sue Fairbanks, thank you for being here tonight.
So what we're requesting today is the adoption of this resolution declaring the board and the mayor and board's intention to either issue revenue bonds of the city. These would be water sewer revenue bonds, or to borrow from the Mississippi Development Bank for the in the amount not to exceed $4 million for the purpose of acquiring an existing water system and making improvements to that water system, and then making general improvements to the city's water and sewer system.
All right, are there any questions from anyone?
Nope. Move we approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, request permission to adopt a resolution hiring required legal counsel and an independent registered municipal advisor in connection with the sale and issuance of the city of Oxford, Mississippi of either combined water and sewer system revenue bonds of said city or revenue bond of said city for sale to the Mississippi Development Bank, or the execution and delivery of documents necessary to secure a loan with the Mississippi Development Bank, all in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4 million.
So this is a resolution just approving professionals for the issuance of this debt for the city, and this would be approving Mayo Millette as the city's counsel, Butler Snow as bond counsel, and government consultants as the financial advisor to the city for this financing.
Motion made. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
All right,
Thank you, Sue. Thanks for being here. Consideration of the FY 2022-2023 interlocal agreement for the funding of early childhood and reading development. Who was going to be here?
I'm not sure who was going to be here for that one, but I'll speak to it. I believe it's the same amount that we've done. It's the $30,000 annual payment for the director. I think in the email, Tamara Hilmer was, she's retiring.
I know that she's retiring, and so that's why I was uncertain who was going to be here tonight.
I thought they moved it to a different one. I had not heard that.
Okay, I don't know. Well, they are not here tonight, so why don't we move it to the next agenda so that we have the details before the board, whether they are able to attend or not. Let's move it to the next meeting. All right, request permission to approve a restaurant consumption permit or brown bag permit for Alexandra Santiago for the Sleepy Cactus. Chief?
Yes, ma'am, we do this regularly, so it's always up to the board. I would say most of the time when we do this, we're waiting for an ABC permit, but I don't think that's their intention, so I wanted the board to be aware of that as well.
All right, does anybody have any questions? We've approved a lot of brown bags that are temporary,
It's almost
but
housekeeping, but I so moved.
Second.
all in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept the donation of 64 T-shirts from the Ink Spot for Oxford Police Department's Camp Cops.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to transfer ownership of abandoned firearms to the Oxford Police Department as per the forfeiture order of the Oxford Municipal Court.
Yes, ma'am, order has been signed. These are cases that we worked from 2013 to 2021. Then we'll put those into use and/or destroy them.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to approve a parade assembly permit for City Grocery's 30th anniversary event. We got Nadia Thornton here to present this item. Hey there.
Yes, so we are just requesting this event permit for the 30th anniversary of City Grocery. It would be a temporary sidewalk put in place it would be dropped off Friday, June 17th, and we wouldn't actually close the sidewalk until Saturday when we start the setup, and then it would be in place until Monday for removal.
All right. Do we have any questions or concerns? If not, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. First reading of a proposed ordinance for case 2865, amending Articles 3 and 10 of the Land Development Code. Mr. Raquette?
This is certainly a unique, out-of-the-box modification to the ordinance. Due to the governor's signing of the Mississippi Medical Cannabis Act on February the 2nd, I did want to bring it to your attention. You saw the link in the memo that the Department of Revenue did release a draft of their rules at this point, and so that is open for comment right now to the public. And it's certainly it's a learning process as we go along because rules are slowly coming out. But given those recent rules that were released, Mississippi Department of Revenue is able to issue licenses as soon as July the 2nd, and so we are hopeful that as we move forward with these rules, that at our next meeting that they could be a public hearing and a potential vote based on comment that we do receive. We are proposing the establishment of a medical cannabis establishment use, which would be allowed as either a special use or a special exception. A special use would be approved administratively, subject to staff review to make sure that the proposal does comply with all the regulations in here, including the additional standards that are provided. You'll see in here that we're proposing these uses in nearly all of our commercial districts, actually all, either by special use or special exception for the cannabis cultivation facility, cannabis dispensary, and I think it's worth pointing out, cannabis dispensary does have regulations, distance requirements for, as established by the legislation, 1,000 feet from another dispensary.
You're right.
1,500 feet from another dispensary, sorry. And then 1,000 feet from a school, church, or a daycare. A school, church, or a daycare can actually provide a waiver for that to be 500 feet. So that has to be provided with a survey by a licensed surveyor to show those distances. Cannabis disposal entity, a cannabis processing facility, a cannabis research facility, and a cannabis testing facility. As noted in here, we are proposing a slight change from the Planning Commission. The testing facility should have been special use in SEO, SEN, UCO, UCN, and industrial, and then a special exception in the TNB district.
But it doesn't have to go back to
Well, we're proposing that change. I don't know that it has to go back to the Planning Commission. It could be approved as it was proposed. We just thought it made sense to keep it consistent with a research facility. Testing and research were very similar.
And the planning commission's was a recommendation for approval, correct?
Correct, you know.
And y'all always have the right to change what they recommended or accept or reject their recommendations. So yes, y'all can decide it needs to go back, but it does not have to. Okay.
The only question that did come up with regard to this was a T&D or a PUD. And our conversations with council was to do like we do with most businesses in those areas where commercial district, you look to the underlying zoning and, I'm sorry, where the PUD is or the T&D, you would look to the underlying zoning and then you would request the use based on what that underlying zoning is. But we could go in and we could make it more explicit if you would prefer that.
Thoughts?
The
I
planning
think
commission.
underlying zoning is appropriate, is take a look at it in any PUD or TMD.
That's what we thought too. Planning
Yeah.
commission
I
agreed.
think that makes the most sense.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else? All right, then at our next meeting, we will have a second reading and a public hearing on this change.
Great.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have third reading and vote on a proposed ordinance for case 2856 to amend Articles 2, 3, and 5 of the Land Development Code.
So nothing has changed since the last time we met on this. We have not received any additional comment from the public, and we request your support for these changes.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request approval of a preliminary and final plat for case 2864, Mid-States Petroleum for Mid-States Petroleum subdivision for property located at FD Buddy East Parkway, being further identified as PPIN 9145. Robert?
Okay, and again, this is a preliminary and final plat to remedy an illegal subdivision of land that occurred at this location. It's a 1.25 acre single lot subdivision, and the applicant is proposing to build a service station on this property, but we have not yet received a site plan for that proposal. The proposed lot meets the dimensional requirements of the underlying zoning, and we haven't received subdivision covenants, which will be required prior to the issuance of permits. We do have an access easement for the ingress and egress for this property. Engineering has provided comments related to access, water and sewer, and stormwater in the report. And at the May Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the request with conditions that are in that staff report, and staff recommends approval of the preliminary and final plat for this with the 6 conditions that are listed in the memo.
Move we approve with conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Robert. Third reading and vote on a proposed ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 2, the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, Division 1, generally, Section 2-24, Officers and Employees, Appointment, and adding Section 2-30, to abolish the Municipal Election Commission and to establish an agreement with the Lafayette County Circuit Clerk's Office to have the county election commissioners conduct municipal elections.
Yes. Again, no changes from any previous versions that have been presented. I will have to publicize it 3 times in the newspaper and have it posted at the Chancery Building, Circuit Court Building, and our building to further let the public know that it will be going away, but yes.
Did you receive any objections?
None.
That was part of the I would like to say I did get an objection from Jeff Busby for me saying that sporting goods was high priced. I'd like to go on record as saying they're not.
Motion made to approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, request permission to adopt a resolution naming Preston Taylor, the voting delegate, and John Morgan as the alternate delegate for the MML 2022 election on June 28th, 2022.
Yes, if they are both able and willing to serve, that was, we do
Move
this
we
every year.
approve.
Yep. Second.
All right, y'all are both going? Preston, you're planning to go? All right, all in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Consider the recommendation from the Transit Commission for transit management and authorize a contract for transit management services for the Oxford University Transit System. I know that we've got Steve Scherer here from RATAP Dev, and so welcome. And I know if anybody on the board has questions, you'll be willing to answer them. We'll let Mark take it away.
The board approved a request to advertise for the transit management services in February, and we were able to send out the request for the RFP in March. We received 2 submissions. One was from First Transit and the other from RATP Dev USA, which is our current management company. Both proposals were very professional, organized, and thorough. The Transit Commission met last week to evaluate the proposals and voted unanimously to recommend RATP Dev USA to continue service for a 3-year term. MDOT also approved the recommendation in a letter of concurrence. Based on that recommendation, I'm requesting the permission for the board to authorize the contract contingent on council review. And if approved, the new contract will become effective on August 1st and will run through July 31st, 2025 with a 2-year renewal option.
Move we approve with council approval.
So you want to go with RATP Dev?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be the approval.
I know.
That would be the approval.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we have removed number 20, and so number 21 is request permission to advertise for a microsurface pavement preservation project. Rihanna?
Yes, this is just to receive permission to advertise. We'd like to have this project running along with the county's project this summer, and it's for our pavement preservation. It's a newer technique that we are, it's new to the city of Oxford. The county has used it for several years now, successfully.
Second.
And I appreciate y'all working with the county to do this so that we can hopefully get all of our stuff done together at a better price.
Yes,
So,
we do expect
with a
to see
motion
that
and
advantage.
second, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, Rihanna. Request permission to approve the 2022 interlocal agreement with Lafayette County for on-call public transportation services. Bart?
This same agreement that we've entered into in the past, and this is for the, what we've historically called RSVP transit service. County approved it yesterday.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and we have the 2 additional items to the agenda. Authorize mayor to sign CRR SA 5310 supplemental agreement number 1.
The supplemental agreement adds additional fuel costs to our current agreement. Our current agreement had $10,500 fuel cost. This agreement gets us reimbursed for up to $21,000.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Next is to appoint the Director of Development Services as the building official.
The International Building Code requires us to have a building official appointed as part of their code that we have adopted, and our recommendation is we appoint the Director of Development Services as the building official.
Motion made. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider a request to allow Square Jam 2022 on October the 14th, 2022.
It'll be just the same as it's been in the past. It'll be in front of City Hall, and it'll be on October 14th, which is the weekend of the Auburn home football game.
Motion made. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider an annexation request for Grand Oaks Phase 7.
I may defer to Pope and turn this over to him, but we have been approached by the developers of Grand Oaks to wanting us to annex a portion of 3 lots in Grand Oaks Phase 7. And it'll be at their expense, but it'll go through the city. We'll have to put on testimony. We'll have to turn it over to Pope.
Really, I can let you talk, but I mean, didn't we talk about this before? Because basically, they won't know who to call, and I can't remember where we talked about it.
Here's just the short of it, is the annexation is y'all's. It's not a petition for inclusion, because they don't have any residents on there to petition, so y'all have to decide you want to annex this property. I don't think there's any reason that Bart would tell you don't. It would be additional tax. It does adjoin city property. It's not. There's no reason that I can think of that it wouldn't meet the annexation factors.
And it splits. Parts of every single lot's already part of its own city property.
Exactly, yes, correct. Which is already difficult for tax.
That's what, maybe it was you that was gonna have a hard time with it.
So anyway, if y'all turn us loose on it, what we'll do is contact Mike Slaughter. We won't enter into a contract with him, but he's probably who we would use because he's done the last one too. And we would begin drafting up an ordinance of annexation for y'all to approve, all of which gets the process moving forward.
All right, so we need a motion
To allow mail that to move forward.
to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, I'd ask the board to consider an executive session.
Move we can.